Drop a like and do share. Leave your comments and do not forget to subscribe for more videos.
What's up guys? This is Manoj Baptani. I welcome you all on behalf of the Edupedia world. Let's mark the beginning of this wonderful presentation wherein I'll be discussing with you about some forthcoming topics relating to investigation and due diligence. Are you guys all set? Are you guys revising your topics time and again? Because that is something which is extremely crucial. I just believe that you guys are devoting proper time to your revision and retention of the topics. Perfect. Fasten up your seatbelts. We are about to take off with the first topic of the day, and that will be the factors governing the preparation of an investigation report. So guys, in any kind of investigation, submission of the final report is the final stage of any of the investigation process. So there must be some of the factors which affect the preparation of the investigation report. Obviously, there will be. Number one, the investigation is usually said to be complete when the investigator submits his findings in that investigation report to the appointing authority. Only then you can say that your investigation stands complete, while you provide for that report to the appointing authority. So what are the two major factors that you need to understand which determine the reporting of any of the investigator? Number one, instructions of the client, and number two, findings of the investigator. So you need to obtain and report the kind of instructions that have been received from the client regarding the specific areas and aspects of the business, and your finding as an investigator on the basis of work that you carried out. These are the two major factors which are going to affect and govern the preparation of any of the investigation report. I simply got an idea that you guys got a fair idea about what are these two factors. Okay, that one, instructions of the client, second, your findings as an investigator. But you must be thinking, guys, that what should be included in a very good investigation report. Sir, you told us, okay, that we need to provide these two things in the report, that what all have been received as an instructions from the client and to you, and what all have been your findings. But in order to ensure that you provide client to a very good kind of investigation report, you as an investigator, you should have the checklist of a few things in your mind. Number one, you need to highlight the nature of investigation and final outcome. What was your nature of investigation and what has been the final outcome of that investigation in your investigation report. Number two, you should avoid any irrelevant matter in that report. That is something which is very essential for any of the good investigation report. You just don't provide them any irrelevant stuff. Provide them all the clear, meaningful and relevant data in your report. Number three, you need to ensure proper interpretation. By proper interpretation, I simply say that you need to make a good choice, a choice of good appropriate words to convey your intended meaning. That is something which is essential to introduce in your vocabulary. Number three, you need to link. You need to understand the linking between the relevant facts and conclusion with your established evidences. Number five, you need to reveal the nature of the basis and assumptions. What all assumptions, what all basis have you taken? Okay, while providing your reliability in relation to the specific problem addressed. What all have been your nature of the basis and assumptions. Number six, you need to list out the supporting evidences along with the source of such evidences. From where have you gathered those evidences? Who all have been providing you such evidences? What all have been your supporting evidences while you perform that investigation? Then comes specify. Specify the nature and objective of the assignment. You need to specify that. That is something which is essentially important. Why? Because once the next person is going to start reading your investigation report, they first of all need to have a fair idea about what all have been under your nature and objective of your assignment. So you need to specify the same, including any kind of limitation that has been imposed from the client. So you need to address the same in your report as well. Then you need to give reasons. You need to give reasons for the restrictions which have been imposed, and what all has been the impact of such restrictions on your findings. Whether you have been provided some restricted kind of access to the things. Okay, if in case yes, then you need to give the reasons for that restriction imposed, and what all has been the impact of such restrictions. Were you not able to perform your investigation in a complete holistic manner in that case? Okay, what all have been the kind of problems and the obstacles that you faced due to those restrictions? You need to provide the impact of the same on your finding. Lastly, the maintenance of the proper form of report. You need to provide them the proper form of report, like paragraph sums with suitable headings, use of annexures, and all. And finally, you need to give the opinion in clear terms. In clear terms, I'm saying. So as a separate paragraph that catches the attention of the reader at the first sight. So these all are the ingredients of a good investigation report. I hope you guys got the complete understanding as to what all are the factors which govern the preparation of the investigation report and what all are the ingredients of a good investigation report. Perfect, guys. Do revise. Remember that. So let's move further with the next topic. That will be about special aspects in relation to business investigation. Now, you have been appointed to take care of the investigation which is relating to some kind of business. Okay. So what all special things, special aspects are you going to cover in that business investigation? So let's understand them one by one. So guys, in order to obtain some kind of satisfactory and a good results, okay, you need to address some of the factors which should be considered while you carry out your investigation. Number one, you should go through the entire overall picture. You should study first of all of overall picture. Number two, you need to examine the profit and loss account. What all is being covered under the profit and loss account. You need to examine that. Number three, you need to examine the balance sheet. And lastly, you need to interpret your findings and your things on the figures. Okay, with respect to different things. This is something which is on the broader aspect. Now, number one, let's mark the beginning with study of overall picture first of all. So, as an investigator, you should have a very good idea, okay, a very good idea of the overall picture of the entity and about the position of the business of that entity. Okay, you need to have the overall idea of that. You need to identify the kind of various entities in the group. Let's suppose the company is having their parent, the company is also having some subsidiary, co-subsidiary, sub-subsidiary. So you need to have the overall picture, idea of the overall group structure of that company overall itself. Number three, you need to establish the line of activity. Say what kind of business is going on in the company, be it manufacturing, be it some trading. Okay, are they like providing some single product or are there multiple products in that company? The company is into some kind of indigenous goods or imported materials. Is it a labor specific company or a capital intensive products company? Are they treating themselves as wholesaler or they are busy into some retail distribution? This is something which you need to address once you start any of the investigation with any of the company. So you need to establish the line of activity with which that entity has involved itself into. So that is something which is being done. Number four is a study of various aspects about the character of management, what all has been included into the economic and political forces of that company, what is the position of the entity in market, what's the position in their industry, who all are their competitors, and what's the level of their activity. And all those aspects which are peculiar to any of the entity. These things will be like covered under the first part, that is the study of overall picture. So this will include, you need to have the overall idea with respect to same. You need to have those kind of instructions with the client. You need to have that findings of the investigator. You need to have that overall picture of the idea. You need to address about the various entities in that group. You need to establish that line of activity. Okay, and you need to study on the various aspects, be it character of the management, what all are the economic and political forces, what are the factors which are responsible for the rise and sale of their products they are selling. Each and every stuff which is going to help you up in understanding that business will be covered in first part. That is the study of overall picture. Next comes the examination. The examination of P&L account. So there are a few items that need to be reviewed for a period. Let's say 6 years, 10 years down the line. So a vertical analysis chart may be prepared to enable the comparison between the figures of various years. The figures should be reconciled with the audited statements. So what all can you figure out in this thing? Number one, you need to take care of the balances of the P&L account. You need to take care of the opening stock, stocks which have been like consumed, WIP, closing stock. You can take care of that in P&L account. Number three, you need to take care of the turnover. What is the turnover of each product? Analysis of the gross profit and net profit ratios. This thing will be covered in P&L examination. Again, what is the wage structure? Is the company capital intensive company or it is a labor intensive company? What is the wage structure? What are the reasons of high wages? what is the relationship with labor unions, industrial disputes, strikes. This thing will also be covered under profit and loss account. Then comes depreciation, let's suppose. So what is the depreciation? What is the maintenance of machinery over there? What kind of purchase and sale of asset is going on over there? What is the depreciation method which is being followed? Age and cost of maintenance of assets. All this will be covered in examination of profit and loss account. Managerial remuneration, reasonability of the remuneration with respect to the compliance with the Companies Act, adjustment of exceptional and non-recurring items, repairs and maintenance for years, their fluctuations, deferred revenue expenditure, substantial fluctuations of profit and loss figures over the year, reason for the fluctuations. All these things which are being covered in profit and loss account, you need to address the examination of the same in P&L account. I hope you guys got the complete clarity with respect to the first two steps, that is study of the overall picture and then moving on to the examination of P&L account. Now let's move to the third thing, that is the examination of balance sheet. So you need to provide for the complete examination for balance sheet itself. So what all is being covered under balance sheet? Fixed asset, investments, stocks and work in progress, debtors, other liquid assets, idle assets, liabilities, provisions, capital. So if I talk about fixed asset, you need to address some of the cost, depreciation, write-off with respect to any of the sale and purchase. If I talk about investments, you can check out the classification of long-term, short-term investments, their interest and dividend receivable. If I talk about stock and work in progress, you need to have that kind of valuation done for the same. What all will be covered under the allowances of damaged, obsolete and slow-moving stocks. If I talk about debtors, what is the credit period which is given to them and actually taken? What is the debtor to sales ratio? What all have been resulted into bad debts, their recovery. If I talk about other liquid assets, that will be the realizability of the same, whether the same is going to be realized in the near future or not. If I talk about idle assets, number of assets which are remaining idle, period for which they are remaining idle, liabilities, whether understated or overstated, whether they have been inflated or suppressed, what are the free reserves, provisions. So if in case of provisions, that will be provision for taxes, outstanding expenses, undisputed and disputed statutory liabilities. If I talk about capital, so that's classes of capital, debt equity ratio, capital gearing ratio, capital to fixed asset ratio. There are n number of things. You can have as many things in your special examination of balance sheet. All these are the major broad heads that I'm providing to you. And believe me, this list is just not exhaustive. You can increase and broaden your scope of investigation in whatever way you want. I'm just providing you n number of examples so that I can make you clear with a kind of relevant, complete understanding of the topic. And finally, this is about interpretation of figures. So if I talk about fixed asset, turnover, working capital, future maintainable profit, so what all will be the figures in case of fixed asset? So you need to have that kind of figure of amount of capital expenditure which is needed for replacement or upgradation of any existing machinery. If I talk about turnover, so what will be the future turnover? You need to understand the trend, marketability, political and economic scenario, competition. If I talk about working capital, stock turnover ratio, creditors payment period, effect of their increased turnover on the current asset. What will be the lastly estimating the future maintained profits? So adjustment of the profits for various years, applicability, impact of extraneous matters, recurrence of factors. All these things will be covered under interpretation. So these are some of the special aspects in relation to any of the business investigation. Perfect, guys. With this, I'll say thank you on behalf of the Edupedia world. Keep interacting via questions, queries, and YouTube comment boxes. I will love to answer each one of your queries and grievances on time. If in case you liked our video, do give us a thumbs up. Stay connected. That will help us in understanding your needs way better. Take care, guys. See you all. I'll see you in the next presentation with some new, exciting, and relevant topics for you guys. Perfect. God bless you. Love you.